Hello everyone, it is another episode of my Horus Heresy Legion series, and in this episode I will be painting fastest Space Marine, which are white scars. First I had to prepare the model. I knew that I wanted to use Mark 6 armor, however as in every episode of this series I also wanted to make it somehow Legion specific. This time I didn't print or use any unique parts, but rather I'm gonna repulse the mini. Plan is to take an already working model and make him run. To do that, I'm leaning his torso forward and making one of his leg bend, so that only one leg is touching the ground. Note that it is important to reinforce connections with wire. So I'm doing just that. And I also filled gaps with green stuff. When it comes to his hand, I also want them to be dynamic. So in one hand, he will be holding bolter and in other a sword. Here I'm using parts from Mark IV Space Marine set, because here Space Marines are holding bolters only in one hand. I only have a few proper swords, and I don't want to use them, so I decided to use this part and remove the excess plastic. That would leave me with just a sword. I also sculpted his hand gripping the sword. After that I attached the rest of the parts, leaving one shoulder pad apart. This way it will be much easier for me to later freehand on it. I started by priming using white spray. Next, I started working on his armor. Unfortunately, painting white is hard, not because it requires some skill, but rather because there is a limited amount of shades of white, and they quickly become grey. Here, I first started to volumetric highlight. However, I quickly noticed that there isn't any noticeable change, and that it just generally doesn't work. So I went with different approach. I used sponge to create lots of chipping. First with Administratum Grey, and second with white scar. That will give me desired contrast without making an armor look grey. I switched back to brush, where I wanted to be more deliberate, create scratches, and in places where sponge couldn't fit. Later I also used Rhinox hide to add some rust or matte, depending on how you look at it. After that, I was freehanding with red. I created those patterns unique to white scars. And because I didn't buy any white scars decals, and I thought it would be easy, I freehanded this white scar symbol. It wasn't so easy and took me a couple of attempts. When it was done, I went back to white and ran outside, creating some scratches to blend in those red fragments. Hardest parts were behind me, so I could base coat black parts, like his bolter and armor joints, with Abaddon black. Before edge highlighting those parts, I painted his blue eye lenses. Also, I suddenly realized that the recesses were too bright, so I put Noodle oil where it was needed. Back to painting black parts. After that, the only thing left to paint were the metallics, so I base coated silver parts with lead bircher. While I was using this paint, I also put it on some edges of armor. Next, I'm using Retributor Armor Gold. This will improve color contrast and make Mini more interesting. After that, I covered all the silver parts in Noodle oil. And finally, last step in painting will be edge highlighting silver parts with Ronefang steel. After attaching the shoulder pad, the Mini was done, and the only thing left is a proper base. I decided that I want to make a rocky base. I am gluing down those battlefield rocks from the army painter and some cork. After everything is secured, I'm putting some stirland mud in between and drilling a hole for a wire. Now I can start painting it. So I made a mix of mechanical standard grey and sandry dust. With it, I'm covering all the rocks. Later, I mostly dry brushing, adding some ice yellow. After that, I wanted to give it some color variation, so I'm using different washes. Lastly, I am sponging some ice yellow on the edges and quickly painting a rim. After attaching the model, this project is truly done. I hope you have enjoyed this video and maybe learning something new. If you did, please like and subscribe to don't miss next episode of this series. Thanks for watching and see you next time.